But for now, we're going to move on to Deandrah Cameron.
Sorry, can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. Alrighty. Hi, everyone. My name is Deandrah Cameron. I'm a policy manager at New Jersey Future, and I work on lead in drinking water policies and advocacy issues. And Kari touched on the effects of ingesting lead in drinking water. And so my presentation is going to cover a little bit more information on how lead actually gets into the water. Next slide, please. Next slide. Awesome. So we have, and Cassie, maybe you could also maybe flip back and forth between this one and the next one, which is in Spanish, if that helps. So I have a diagram of a house, and just to paint a picture of how lead actually gets into your drinking water. So in the groundwater aquifers and in our lakes and rivers, there is no lead in the water. But the mechanism that gets lead, that gets water from the water supply system to the home is called a service line. And these can be made of copper, lead, or PVC. And so when water systems utilize lead service lines, there is a possibility that the lead from the material in the service line could leach into the water. And so typically water systems are advised to balance the pH of the water, and this acts as a corrosion control mechanism. So you could balance the pH, or you could use a corrosion control chemical, which prevents the lead pipe from corroding. Sometimes this can fail, and so this is how lead actually leaches into the water. And there are lead service lines, but there are other fixtures such as goosenecks and galvanized fixtures that aren't completely made of lead, but they have some lead material in the makeup. In New Jersey, we're now considering lead service lines, galvanized pipes, and goosenecks all to be lead, and they're required to be removed by 2031. Next slide. You may be wondering if you do have a lead service line and what can you do to figure out what your water system is doing. And if you have a lead service line, and so you could contact your water system, and they could actually tell you, because they are conducting inventories, and you can ask them if you have a lead service line or not. You can also have your service line inspected. And also later on in the next presentation, you will also learn a special tool that we have available. So if you're like a renter and you're not the payer of your water bill, you can actually go online to check to see if your water system has their inventory, and you can look at your address and see if you have a lead service line as well. And if you are concerned whether or not lead is actually leaching into your water at home, you can get a certified water test kit online. And Kari mentioned not boiling the water, running it for a minute up to 3 minutes, as well as using a certified filter. Next slide. Awesome. As I mentioned, I do a little bit of policy work, and I wanted to pinpoint a few things in the lead policy world that recently happened, and the implementation of these are underway across New Jersey. In 2017, children ages 1 and 2 are required to be lead screened. And as Kari mentioned, that is the requirement, but we recommend that screening continues from birth up to about 6 years old, because children under 6 are at the greatest risk. In 2021, a big year for lead laws, we had the lead service line replacement law, and it requires all New Jersey water systems to replace all lead service lines by 2031. And we also, in 2021, had the lead paint inspection law, and requires the inspection of residential rental properties. And so homes will receive a lead safe certificate. Next slide, please. So, Kari mentioned about blood lead level testing. I want to talk a little bit about what happens in the water world as it relates to water testing. So, water systems use an contaminant level of 15 parts per billion currently. This is what is the action level that is in the current lead and copper rule. New Jersey is working on a new lead and copper rule, and it may reduce this from 15 parts per billion. But currently, this is the lead action level. And so when the lead in your water exceeds 15 parts per billion, it is said to have an action level exceedance. And at this point, the water system has to remediate, and remediation could look like adjusting the pH so that the lead does not leach into the water, could be adjusting the corrosion control. And in times when those do not work, they are required to replace the lead service line. And so even if a water system is not replacing your line today, but you have an ALE, they have to replace it if they can't remediate it with a action level, with a corrosion control or balancing the pH. Typically in the past, water systems were required to replace 7% of lead service lines per year. Under the new lead law, they're required to replace 10% of their inventory every year. And that is regardless of an action level exceedance. So New Jersey has recommended that regardless of lead seeping into the water or not, it's time to remove all the lead lines in the state. And coming down in 2024, water systems are also going to offer voluntary testing for school and childcare facilities through what is called the lead and copper rule revision. So typically testing of schools and facilities were done through DOH and DOE, the Department of Health and Education. And so in 2024, the federal government recommends that water systems offer voluntary testing for school and childcare facilities. Next slide, please. Exciting news. New Jersey was named one of EPA's 4 accelerator states. And the Lead Service Line Accelerator Program is a program where the EPA is offering technical assistance for underserved cities across New Jersey. The 4 states in the accelerator program are Wisconsin, PA, Connecticut, and of course, New Jersey. And very soon we will learn which cities in New Jersey qualify or were selected to be a part of the EPA accelerators. This is a part of EPA's Justice 40 initiative. And so across 4 states, they're selecting 10 underserved towns or communities or water systems And so they're dedicated to rapid removal of lead service lines. Additionally, New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection has the NJ TAP program, which is another technical assistance program that is also working to assist water systems across New Jersey who are struggling to get their lead service line programs moving. So together with the federal program and the state program, New Jersey is well on its way as a model state. And we also, with our 10-year service line replacement law, we are also one of the states with the strictest lead service line removal law. Currently, in some states, water systems could remove their portion of the lead service line, and then residents would have to figure out their portion. And in New Jersey, we've outlawed partial replacements. So now water systems will have to replace their portion of the lead service line, as well as partner with homeowners to get their service lines removed. Some water systems are doing it at no cost. Some are charging a partial fee, and some programs are offering reimbursements, and some water systems are actually increasing the rates just a little bit to get lead lines out. So in our next presentation, you'll learn a little bit more about how you can check your water system and also go to their website and see what they're doing. Next slide, please. Kari mentioned this a little bit, so I just want to reiterate that you are flushing your water before you drink or cook with it. Reason you flush your water is that the longer it sits in that really long pipe from the water main on the street to your house is the longer the chance that if there is failure in the corrosion control, that it seeps in. So especially overnight, if you think about 8 hours that water is sitting there, or if you go to school or go to work and you return home, that's a long day, and so no one's running the water, and it could just be sitting there. It could be seeping in. So you want to run it, and then you do not want to boil the water. Lead can actually stick to the pot and cooking utensils, and it could make it worse. And you could get a picture filter just to be safe. Especially, as Kari mentioned, infants who are formula fed are at the greatest risk because they're ingesting 90% of their food is made with water. And I think Jyoti's up next.